It was after SummerSlam last year that Paul Heyman said the Bloodline angle was in the bottom of the third, suggesting there was plenty more to come for the faction. Since then, a lot has changed, including Roman Reigns departing the group now led by Solo Sikoa, but despite this, Heyman still believes that WWE has only scratched the surface. During a recent interview with Sam Roberts at Fanatics Fest, Heyman revisited his past comments and now believes that there may be more to come than he first envisioned. Heyman addressed criticism he received for his previous baseball analogy and doubled down on the idea that there's still so much to come in this angle. He said, "Some people tried to rail me over the coals last year like, oh, Paul Heyman said they're only in the third inning. What a jerk-off Paul Heyman is. I got news for you. I don't even think we're in the third inning yet." Heyman emphasized the uncertainty surrounding key characters like Jimmy and Jey Uso, as well as his own role, stating that, "You don't know if or when the wise man will return." He hinted at potential surprises and new alliances, saying it's possible that Solo Sikoa could have additional backup in due time, given how large the family is. Despite being powerbombed through an announce table on the June 28th SmackDown, Heyman remains confident that the story is far from over and had praise for the work thus far. Heyman said that the angle has an evolving narrative with plenty of untold stories yet to explore, and we've already seen branching stories on TV like those of Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. He added, "I can't imagine someone coming into power in this company and saying we've told the entire story of the Bloodline. I see someone coming into power and saying, oh my god, look what I get to play with now." Heyman reiterated that plans for everyone, including Roman Reigns and himself, are uncertain, but gave a tease of what fans can come to expect. "You don't know who else Solo may or may not have in his back pocket ready to debut. You don't know what our moves, what Roman Reigns' moves, what my moves, what anybody's moves can be. All you know is that Roman Reigns is back. He's back to reclaim the title of Tribal Chief from Solo, and Solo has so much backup right now that Roman's in deep trouble." Explaining his own exit from WWE programming, Heyman broke character and said it had to happen so that Solo and his allies could put an exclamation point on what they're doing. Heyman's reasoning is that by attacking him, the new Bloodline made it clear that they are different from the previous iteration and showed that no one, not even the loyal Heyman, will be safe. The future of the Bloodline storyline remains one of the most anticipated elements in WWE, and Heyman's comments only add to the excitement. But what are your thoughts on Heyman's assertion that the Bloodline is still in its early stages, and how do you see things evolving with the introduction of the likes of Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu? When, if ever, do you think Paul Heyman will return to WWE programming? Share your predictions and hopes for the future of this dominant WWE faction in the comments below. More from the Bloodline as Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga won the WWE Tag Team titles on the pre-SummerSlam edition of SmackDown, and the pair have cemented their reign. Despite missing the latest SmackDown, Tonga Loa confirmed he isn't injured by competing at a live event in Lakeland, Florida, where he and Tama Tonga faced former champions DIY. Interestingly, it was Tama and Loa who defended the titles, indicating that the Bloodline may rotate its members when defending the Tag Team Championship as part of the Freebird rule. It should come as no surprise that the Bloodline retained their titles against DIY, and what do you make of the Bloodline using the Freebird rule? Let us know in the comments. Judging by what we've seen from the Bloodline since SummerSlam, things appear to be heading towards Solo Sikoa versus Roman Reigns in the near future. Solo has proven time and again that he has allies, and many believe that it could be Bloodline versus Bloodline at Survivor Series should Reigns be able to form his own team. That being said, once the issues between Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns settle down, many predict a major change since both men are not expected to remain on the same brand. At Fanatics Fest NYC, WWE shared what could be a spoiler about Sikoa and the Bloodline, seemingly revealing that the group will be moved to Monday Night Raw soon enough. In a graphic promoting Raw's move to Netflix in 2025, the Bloodline was featured, as were A-Town Down Under, implying they could be making a move to Raw as well. Charlotte Flair, who's been out since December, was also on the promotional material, despite last appearing on SmackDown before her ongoing injury. This graphic could be a tease regarding a potential move after they end their feud with Roman Reigns on the Blue brand. The annual WWE draft has already taken place, but there could be a decision made to move the group over to the Red brand ahead of the major move over to Netflix. It's been interesting that the decision has been made to use mostly SmackDown stars to promote the move over to Netflix, when SmackDown will instead be moving to the USA Network. What do you make of this graphic? Has WWE spoiled some huge plans for the Bloodline and other current SmackDown talent? Give your thoughts down in the comments. Over to AEW, and this week will be a huge one for Bryan Danielson, who has vowed to retire from wrestling if he does not win the AEW World Championship at All In London. During a recent conversation with Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, Danielson revealed that his AEW contract expired on August 1st, and he has yet to extend it or sign any new paperwork. Despite not being under contract, Danielson expressed his willingness to continue working with AEW and said he always takes calls from Tony Khan when the AEW president rings. Speaking of Khan, Danielson said the pair will explore options when the time is right, but for now, his priority after concluding his in-ring career is his neck, which will likely need surgery. Danielson added that he's willing to participate even without a formal contract in place, and when asked if other companies have reached out to him, joked he hasn't checked his phone. Bryan says he has nearly 4,000 unread texts and joked that there could be inquiries among them, but for now, his clear focus is on what he can do for AEW. What Danielson already does is work with AEW's disciplinary committee, a role Bryan called an honor, even if it's not a particularly enjoyable task for him. While he appreciates that the committee values his level-headed approach and representation of the wrestler's perspective, he's uncertain if he'll stay in that role after he retires from the ring. Bryan Danielson has been a key part of AEW since his All Out 2021 arrival, and what do you make of what he said? Let us know in the comments below. At Fanatics Fest NYC, fans were given the opportunity to make an entrance to the theme song of some of their favorite WWE superstars, and Drew McIntyre had plenty of fun with that. In videos shared online, McIntyre can be seen making an entrance, but not to his own music, but instead he imitated CM Punk's entrance in the latest mind game between the two. At the event, McIntyre was asked about John Cena's impending retirement and said that he will get the match and will send him packing in a happy retirement, hopefully alongside CM Punk. McIntyre and Cena last competed against one another in a fatal four-way on Raw in January 2019, and he's not the only superstar with an eye on the WWE icon. At Fanatics Fest, Cody Rhodes was asked about possibly being on Cena's retirement tour and said it'd be the honor of his life to face John, adding that he's called the GOAT for a reason. Expectations are high for John Cena's retirement tour, and who would you rather see him face, Drew McIntyre or Cody Rhodes? Let us know in the comments section. This past Saturday, WWE held a live event in Lakeland, Florida, which saw Cody Rhodes retain his title in the main event with Solo Sikoa, but Rhodes did much more than that. In a touching gesture, Cody Rhodes invited Bray Wyatt's daughter into the ring and presented her with his championship belt and spoke about her during his post-match promo. This was a moving act, considering that this Saturday will mark a year since Bray's passing, and it's as clear as ever that the former world champion remains part of the wrestling world. While this was a great moment for the fans in Lakeland, crowds at Fanatics Fest NYC were left disappointed this week, as Rhodes couldn't meet all his commitments at the convention. Many fans attending Fanatics Fest reported issues with the photo ops and autograph sessions. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has now reported that the system used by Fanatics went down during Cody's session. He further noted that Rhodes left the convention as he had a strict departure time to make it to the live event in Fort Myers. It was reiterated that this was not Rhodes' fault and that refunds are available to fans who did not get to do the photo op. Hopefully those fans will get a chance to meet Rhodes, and what do you make of this gesture at the Lakeland live event by the undisputed WWE champion? Let us know below. At the latest AEW Collision, Dustin Rhodes captured the ROH Tag Team titles with Sammy Guevara, but this show was extra special for the Rhodes family. In a dark match in Arlington, Texas before the main AEW Collision event, Wayne and Wyatt Rhodes took to the ring, and as the name suggests, these two are part of the wrestling dynasty. Wayne and Wyatt are the sons of Cody and Dustin's sister Kristen, and defeated Aaron Solo and John Cruz, and are wrestling under the name the New Texas Outlaws. That name is a nod to the tag team of Dick Murdoch and their grandfather Dusty Rhodes. The young duo have been making waves and recently won the RWA Tag Team titles. The pair won at the Rhodes Academy Wrestling Showcase by overcoming the RWA Outlaws, Romero Cruz and RTJ, and now they've made a successful AEW debut. But what do you make of Cody Rhodes' nephews making their AEW debut? Are they destined for success? Give your predictions down below. Last Saturday, AAA held its third TripleMania event of the year, which saw Dionisio Castellanos, renowned as Nicho El Millonero and Psicosis 1, inducted into the AAA Hall of Fame. Castellanos has an impressive 34-year career that has seen him compete in WWE, WCW, ECW, New Japan, CMLL, and GCW, and he received a special message for his induction. In a special tribute, Rey Mysterio, Castellanos' iconic rival with whom he had over 150 matches across various promotions, sent a congratulatory message and celebrated this achievement. Mysterio's presence, albeit via a video, made Castellanos' induction extra special, and Rey wasn't the only WWE Hall of Famer on the show. For the AAA Mega Championship match, Nick Nemeth put his title on the line against Alberto El Patron, and Nemeth revealed that he had JBL in his corner. Despite having JBL, Nemeth lost the gold to El Patron, but the Hall of Famer certainly took fans by surprise with his role at TripleMania in Mexico City. But what do you think of Rey Mysterio and JBL appearing at TripleMania this past weekend? Sound off down in the comments. On last week's AEW Rampage, Saraya, accompanied with Harley Cameron, reflected on her AEW journey and shared her frustration at not being booked for All In inside Wembley Stadium. This frustration quickly led to an in-ring confrontation with current AEW Women's World Champion Toni Storm, and a title match was set for the two for this week's Dynamite. The outcome of this match could have significant implications for Saraya's involvement in AEW All In London, as she's determined to regain the title she once held. Should she come up short, there's a strong chance she won't appear at All In, while Toni Storm is already scheduled to defend her title in London against Mariah May. Many believe that Storm is unlikely to lose the title to Saraya so close to the marquee event, making Saraya's path to Wembley even more challenging and her All In status uncertain. If Saraya does not win the championship, AEW may explore other options to ensure her presence at All In, such as a possible match against Cameron. With their partnership being highlighted on Rampage, AEW may use this opportunity to create tension between the two, and Cameron turning on Saraya could set up a match at All In. The outcome of Saraya's match on Dynamite will be critical in determining her All In role, and whether she gets a title match or not, fans may still see the Brit in Wembley just yet. How do you feel about Saraya's quest to regain the AEW Women's title before All In? Do you think a match with Cameron would be a good alternative? Let us know what you hope to see. If you're a WWE superstar, there's a good chance that your name could be changed, as talent often find themselves using new monikers for a number of reasons. Angel and Berto worked a dark match before Friday's SmackDown, losing to Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin in just over 6 minutes, and they may be the next for a name change. Fightful Select notes that the third-generation superstars were listed as Los Garza instead of Legado del Fantasma on internal run sheets, suggesting a possible change. Sources noted that many superstar ring names are used interchangeably now, especially on run sheets, and it was said that the rules were not as hard and fast as they once were. This name change is fitting for the team formerly known as Los Lotharios. Berto is the son of Humberto Garza Jr., grandson of Humberto Garza Sr., and nephew of former WCW star Hector Garza. Angel was named after his great-uncle Humberto Sr. and is nephew to Hector and Humberto Jr., and they are also related to El Ninja Jr., El Sultan, and Mascara Purpura, among others. Will this potential name change play into what happens on WWE SmackDown? Time will tell, but fans should keep a close eye on Angel and Berto. More live event news now, as at the aforementioned Lakeland, Florida show, Damian Priest challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight title in a rematch from SummerSlam. During the bout, Priest paid homage to The Undertaker as he performed old school on the Ring General, and even did the Dead Man's signature taunt. Afterwards, he picked Gunther up for the Tombstone Piledriver before transitioning into a slam, making it clear the Dead Man's influence runs deep in him. In the end, though, Gunther retained, and should Priest use The Undertaker's moves? Sound off in the comments section. Now, CM Punk has been on a roll lately, becoming one of the biggest attractions in the company, and now he's shared a significant quality of life upgrade for WWE stars. At the Fanatics Fest NYC convention, Punk was asked if he was burned out during his previous WWE run, and said that looking back, he realizes he could have done things different. With that said, at the pace Punk was working, burnout was inevitable, and he said he had to remove himself from the constant grind as no one else was stepping in to help. He had been pleading for someone to assist him in stepping away, but people around him insisted he had to keep going, resulting in Punk walking away in January 2014. Punk compared his situation to Steve Austin's 2002 walkout, as even though Austin was one of the biggest stars in the history of wrestling, his time at the top was relatively brief. This was because Austin was working intensely for a long period, and Punk believes that burnout is unavoidable when someone is working at such a high level for too long. With that said, Punk appreciates that there is now a system in place where management understands the need for breaks, and a strong roster has made it more possible for time off. Thanks to a stacked talent pool, talent like Punk and Cody Rhodes can take days off, and Punk shared a feature on the WWE Work app which allows people to request time off. Punk said he was amazed that this feature exists, and it's remarkable how things have evolved, and he, like many superstars, couldn't be happier about how things have changed. Following his appearance at NYC Fanatics Fest, Punk took to his Instagram story to express gratitude to fans who gave him replacement bracelets at the event. However, Punk made it clear that he still wants the original bracelet back, and despite the chance for time off, he won't stop until his beloved possession is back around his wrist. During her efforts to steal Dominic Mysterio from Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan left her hotel room key for Dirty Dom on an episode of Raw, but it wasn't Mysterio who took the key. After Mysterio, who was still with Rhea at the time, said he would not use the key, Finn Balor was seen pocketing it, leaving fans to speculate as to whether Balor had his eyes on Morgan. At Fanatics Fest NYC, the WWE Women's World Champion was asked about the key and teased that some things are just a little bit better left unsaid. Whatever Balor and Morgan did or didn't do, you won't hear about it from Liv Morgan, as the newest edition of the Judgment Day isn't one to kiss and tell. Since 2020, the story of the Bloodline has kept fans hooked as the characters of so many superstars have seen development, and it's not just the fans who have been pleased. Speaking to Jim Burringer at Fanatics Fest NYC, Nick Khan said he was very proud of the Roman Reigns-centric storyline and what Triple H has been able to do with creative. Describing the angle as a gift that keeps on giving, Khan said the Bloodline angle keeps on living at a high level, in a testament to the work of Triple H, creative, and Reigns himself. With Reigns now back, fans are waiting to see what he does outside the Bloodline, and expect plenty more twists and turns in this saga that has been impressing for years. Cody Rhodes' reign as the undisputed WWE Champion was in jeopardy last night, as he almost lost the title to a top heel at the recent WWE Live event in Lakeland, Florida. In a rematch from SummerSlam, Rhodes defended his title in a Bloodline rules match against Solo Sikoa, meaning that anything could go, including outside interference. While Rhodes had the upper hand most of the match, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa attacked him to turn the tide in their leader's favor, and the duo beat down on the American Nightmare. Tama and Loa placed Solo Sikoa over Rhodes, but Randy Orton's music hit just before the ref counted to 3, and the Viper came out with Kevin Owens in tow. The pair took out Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, helping Cody retain the undisputed WWE Championship and sending the crowd in Lakeland, Florida, home happy. In July, Stephanie Vaquer officially signed a contract with WWE, and she made her in-ring debut on July 13th in Mexico City and competed the next night at a live event in Monterrey. At both shows, she defeated Isla Dawn, but since then, fans have been waiting to see her NXT debut and have been left wondering what's going on with her. PW Insider reports that as soon as Vaquer's visa issues are sorted out, she will make her way to the United States, where fans expect big things for the former CMLL star. And we're ending with AEW, as last week it was announced that All In 2025 will be hosted at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, the first time AEW All In will be held outside of Wembley Stadium. According to PW Insider, several AEW talents were impressed by the attention they received at the All In Texas press conference, a sign of AEW's strong relationship with Arlington. That relationship contributed to a high level of media coverage, including TV network coverage in English and Spanish, and one source said it was easily the best press event AEW ever had. Moving the event to Texas and announcing it early shows that AEW is putting a lot of thought into planning and getting fans excited, though it's too soon to know how successful things will be. AEW is definitely aiming high with their All In Texas pay-per-view, and judging by the backstage reaction to the conference, AEW is definitely on a roll at the moment.